In today's video, we are going to be talking about a topic that people get pretty defensive over: coffee and the benefits of quitting it. The caffeine in coffee is a stimulant drug, and like other stimulant drugs, you can become reliant on and even addicted to it. And it's interesting how we normalize caffeine addiction, while other forms of addiction are seen as taboo. But coffee does have some benefits as well. So the question becomes, do the pros outweigh the cons? In today's video, we are going to talk about the benefits of quitting coffee, my experience after giving it up for 30 days, and whether or not I think it's worth it. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Kate. I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where I share new posts every single day. Today's topic is one that people are pretty divisive on. Some people will defend their daily cup of coffee as if it were their own child, while others don't see how it is any different from other addictive drugs. And I understand both sides. So in this video, I'm going to try to be as objective as possible. Feel free to share your own opinion and experience in the comment section down below, but just know that what I am talking about in this video is from my experience and my research. We're going to start off today talking about my history with coffee, then we will get into the benefits of coffee and the benefits of quitting it. So I was never a coffee drinker growing up. I never drank coffee in my teens or even my early 20s. I just didn't care for the taste. And I've always been a morning person. I've always had no trouble waking up and being energized. So I didn't really need the caffeine effect of coffee. But yeah, when it came to the taste, unless it was a triple from Tim Hortons, only my Canadian followers will get that, I was not a fan of the taste. And then in my mid-20s, I moved to Australia, and oh my God, the coffee culture here is so different. In Canada and the States, most coffee is drip coffee. You get a black coffee and then you add milk and sugar. In Australia, it is all espresso. So a shot of coffee is poured, and then the milk is frothed and poured in a specific way, depending on what type of coffee you want. A latte, flat white, cappuccino, macchiato, piccolo, etc. So coffee here in general is a lot higher quality because people are so particular about it. People will spend anywhere from $4 to $6 on a coffee and drink multiple a day. Anyways, that was a bit of a tangent, but when I first moved to Australia, I still wasn't drinking coffee, still wasn't much of a fan, until I got a job as a barista. And then I pretty much had to drink coffee. Long story short, working that job, I started to appreciate it a lot more. I started to like the bitter flavor a lot more. Most days I was having just one coffee a day, and I figured that that wasn't enough for me to become reliant on it or addicted to it. Drinking it this way, I figured it wasn't a problem. And I think it was in August, and I talked about this in one of my What I Eat in a Day videos, but I ran out of coffee beans and I figured, okay, that's cool. I'll just go a couple of days. I'll buy beans when I go grocery shopping next. Well, it turned out to be sort of a big deal. At which point I realized I was tired and unproductive because I hadn't had caffeine those few days. And that made me reconsider my stance, because previously I've said on my channel lots of times that I only have one coffee a day. I don't rely on it for energy. It's not a problem for me. But I quickly realized that what I was experiencing was withdrawal symptoms. And at this point I figured, okay, well, I've already went 3 days without caffeine. No better time to give it up than now. So in my previous video where I spoke about this, I think I had went 1 week, maybe 2 weeks without caffeine, and I talked about it a little bit, but today's video is going to be an update. But before I get into the benefits I experienced from giving up coffee, I want to talk a little bit more about the pros and the cons in general. The pros of coffee. Now, the reason people start drinking coffee in the first place is not arbitrary. The benefits are actually pretty significant. Of course, the most obvious benefit is that it provides you with a boost of energy. The caffeine in coffee blocks a neurotransmitter called adenosine, which, when not blocked, is what signals the brain that it's time to go to bed. This results in other transmitters, such as dopamine, increasing. It also increases the release of adrenaline via the sympathetic nervous system, which makes you more alert. Beyond that, it has also been shown to boost memory and focus. This has been shown in several randomized studies where participants were given either caffeinated coffee or decaf coffee and then asked to perform various tests. Those are probably the biggest reasons people drink coffee: the boost in energy and the boost in performance. There's also been some data showing that people who drink more coffee are at a reduced disease risk, but this is all just correlational and it doesn't actually prove causation. The cons of coffee. Now let's get into the cons. Caffeine increases the release of the stress hormone cortisol. The levels of cortisol after caffeine consumption are similar to those experienced during an acute stressor, but this seems to be more significant in people who don't drink coffee than people who consume it. For those who drink it regularly, the cortisol response is less drastic. Another big issue with coffee is that it is hard on your gut. The caffeine molecule on its own is considered a stomach irritant. It causes your digestive system to work faster because it wants to get the caffeine out as quickly as possible, which can cause a laxative effect. Coffee is also very acidic, which can affect the lining of your stomach and your intestines. Some people who suffer from IBS report coffee as a trigger. And then, of course, the big issue here is that it is addictive. Caffeine blocks adenosine receptors, and as a result of this, over time, your brain cells might start to produce more to compensate. This requires you to consume more caffeine to achieve the same fix and suppress your tiredness. Cutting caffeine out cold turkey results in a lot of free receptors for adenosine to bind to, which is part of the reason why we experience withdrawal. And this is exactly what I was going through. Symptoms of caffeine withdrawal include fatigue, headaches, trouble concentrating, it can worsen your mood, and it can increase irritability. And some people might even experience tremors. And these symptoms can persist for anywhere from a couple of days to over a week. And this is what really made me want to cut out coffee. I didn't want to be consuming something that I was so reliant on that I couldn't even go a couple of days without it. But now let's get into my experience. I already spoke a little bit about the side effects I experienced when I gave up coffee, but I wanted to elaborate on them a little bit more before I get into the benefits. I would say it took about 3 days of withdrawal before I started to feel better. And those 3 days, I could not get anything done. My head was all over the place. I was sitting at my desk, staring at my computer, couldn't get anything done. I had a mild headache. It wasn't severe, but it was just there and it was annoying. And I just felt exhausted overall. Now, on about day 4, things changed. I started to feel better. I didn't have a headache. I had more energy. I was getting work done. I could focus. But here's the thing. Beyond the withdrawal period that lasted for a few days, I didn't really feel any different with or without it. As I mentioned in my previous video, I ended up switching to decaf because I still wanted to enjoy my bulletproof coffee and get some extra fat into my diet through it. But it wasn't like when I was drinking coffee, I was having energy crashes in the afternoon or trouble focusing or anything like that. And the same thing when I took it out. I still felt the same throughout the whole day. And this has left me kind of on the fence when it comes to coffee. Since the initial just over 30 days that I gave up coffee entirely, I have had the odd cup of caffeinated coffee here and there. And honestly, I don't even notice a huge difference when I drink caffeinated or not. I don't have any increased energy that I notice at least, or any of the other benefits when it comes to memory and focus. So here are my final thoughts. I am not 100% anti-coffee, but I also do not think it is necessary for energy and performance. But then again, I also do not want to have to be reliant on a substance like this. The way I see it is like this. Anything that I cannot go more than one day without is probably going to catch up with me at some time or another. If you are someone who can go 1 or 2 days without coffee, that's great. But if you can't, or if you are someone who drinks multiple cups a day, it might be time to reconsider. Anyways, guys, that is all I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section down below what your experience has been with coffee, if you've quit coffee, if you've started drinking coffee. Do you notice any benefits going with or without it? When you guys comment on my videos, it really helps to boost engagement. YouTube sends the video out to more people, so anything you comment down below, I really appreciate it. And plus, I just love seeing what you guys have to say, and I love chatting with you in the comment section. So thank you once again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you might like my video on the pros and the cons of using targeted carbohydrates in your ketogenic diet. You can check out that video here. If you want to catch up on my most recent upload, you can find it right here. And if you're interested in my keto diet and carnivore diet coaching programs, you can find them here. Thank you again, guys. I will see you next time. Bye.